beautifuls, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Seduce Me too. So, I remember briefly of last episode, we turned Damien into a full human, right? Think so. With that, Diana left us alone. Damien gripped me and looked down at me, cradling the gem in his hand in amazement. The gem is supposed to help him, but it's his sole power.
So,
Which is pretty cool.
we're set.
I nodded happily. Yeah. Our private moment was interrupted by the rushing of the incubi and their wives into the room, most likely being led in by Diana after she left.
Everything good?
Damon and I looked at each other in shock before nodding to the group, hugging each other lovingly. Yep, just two humans cuddling. The group seemed to be excited at the news, gathering around us and visually checking us for any wounds or bruises. To my surprise as well, there were none, even after the attack from the black flames. Diana really pulled through. Damien, now being crowded, pushed everyone back, pocketing the gem.
We're okay. We're okay.
We still need to check on you, Damien, to make sure.
I giggled and stepped away from Damien, kissing his cheek. I was exhausted and needed to get to bed before I passed out in Damien's arm, ruined the whole ordeal. Let them check you out, Damien. I'll be in the room. Damien stared before nodding, understanding that I needed rest, before surrendering himself to the scanning eyes of his brothers. I took that moment to wave to the others and sneak out towards my room. I finally returned to our room and flopped onto the bed, letting the events of my time in the abyssal plains replay in my mind. I was trapped here, and soon enough I was about to go marching into battle against the demon lord for my freedom. The more I thought about it, the more surreal the feeling became. I was going to be in a room, meeting a powerful adversary face to face, and set myself free of the curse he brought down upon me. As Damien entered the room at last, I smiled instead, walking over and wrapping my arms around him as he returned my embrace.
Tonight is our last night here.
That means this war is almost over? Yeah. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We had been in a heavy predicament, and we worked through it. It was something we did together. All we could do in the moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to fear it even more. Was I ready to go into battle with Damien, or any of us for that matter? We were about to walk into the final battle of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to see Damien afterward and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. Make love to Damien or sleep? What? Sure, let's make love. Maybe that'll calm herself down, maybe. I needed to hold him and treat the night like it was the last night of the world. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. I wrapped my arms tightly around Damien, burying my hands in his orange hair as he slowly encircled his arms around my waist. Damien pulled me close, knowing exactly what I wanted to do. Damien slowly stepped us back towards the bed and fell forward onto it, pinning me down to the mattress with his body as he claimed my lips with his own. I combed my fingers through his hair lovingly. Each touch of his fingers embedded themselves into my memory as I took in his scent, his warmth, his kisses over my skin. I barely felt him slowly ease my legs apart and kneel between them as he danced his tongue against mine. A part of me, however, felt a bit bold. I wrapped my arms and legs around him, Damien before rolling us over to where I straddled his hips, surprising him. As he looked up at me in shock, I spoke down at him lovingly. You've worked so hard, Damien. Let me reward you. Damien gulped slightly, taking in his new turn of events. Before I leaned in, I kissed him ever so sweetly, brushing my hands over his chest and feeling his skin beneath my fingers. As he quaked beneath me, I felt a rush of pride run through me. I liked this a bit. I would explore it further, undressing as slow as possible and grinding myself against him. Quite interesting to read out loud, right, guys? His hands not bound anywhere caressed over the skin available to him as his eyes became lost in my form, while a mild form of shyness rushed through me. I had to run through with the mood. I wouldn't let myself get out of the swing of heat between us, even as his hands rubbed against every weak spot I had. As it became unbearable to deny ourselves our carnal needs any longer, we ravished each other and finally made love, gripping to each other and letting our moans become lost in each other's mouths and shoulders. Damien's hand combed over my back as I dragged my fingers along his chest, seeing the red welts of my dragging slightly form over his skin. It was erotic to see, but as Damien's hands locked themselves onto my hips and began to guide our rhythm, I became lost in the pleasure within me instead. The bed creaking only became louder the faster and rougher it became. We were uncaring of who was around us or who would hear us. We were dancing through euphoria together, and we weren't going to stop. It was a perfect ecstasy from beginning to end. When Damien wrapped his arms around me and held me close, both of us quaking in our embrace. I could only stare into Damien's gorgeous purple and blue eyes, becoming lost in them as exhaustion began to crawl through me. I love you, Damien, forever.
I love you too. My life is yours.
We both passed out in each other's arms, lost in our bliss. The world didn't matter until the morning, but even then we knew we'd be alright. Tomorrow would decide everything. The day of the siege had finally dawned. We had arrived at the Demon Lord's castle, and we were as ready as we could be. Many armies bearing different banners and colors washed over the ground before the castle, ready to rush in and lay waste to the Demon Lord and the remainder of his forces. All of us shared a common enemy, and upon his demise, would all finally know some form of peace. Even during the roll call of the major generals, the air became full of determination and pride.
Mirth! Avarice! Nadia! Fiorna! Aradum!
Each name called became a mark on history. This was a word to bring freedom or destruction to the demon world. If the rebellion didn't win this fight, then this war would never end. If the rebellion won, then the world would become united in a hopeful, peaceful rule. The hour before the battle was set to take place, my thoughts instantly ran back to our final meeting in the little castle. Diana had pulled the leaders and us together, instructing us on how exactly to proceed.
Zero, you will be joining Shadow and Sergeant in the front, taking care of the main army head-on. I expect that you will come out of it alive.
Yeah, Zero. You and Diana are a thing, so you can't be doing death.
Yes, my lady.
Rabbit, Faye, you are in charge of range attacks and defense. We cannot allow any of those blasted imps getting to us from behind.
Yes, ma'am!
As Diana looked to me, I grew slightly fearful. I had to get into the Demon Lord's castle. But how exactly did Diana plan on getting me there?
You and your fiancé will take the side route straight to the castle.
Wait, huh?
We've organized our army to have our strongest on the front lines and against the tree line, giving us a side route for you to make your way straight to the castle.
Cool.
If anything trickles into the side route, you'll be able to handle it. However, there is something I must ask of you.
Yes? What is it?
If you are indeed attacked, you need to defend your fiancé the entire way there. Do not let him use his energy.
So I'm his shield?
What? Are you insane?
When you get to the castle, I will be fighting one-on-one with the Demon Lord. If something should happen to me, then I need you to take over. She is not ready to fight him, and you need to be at full strength to finish him off.
I stared, listening and reaffirming the order. I couldn't lie, I was nervous. However, I was determined enough to see this through. I looked over at my fiancé with a confident smile. I got this. Don't worry. Despite the worried look in his eyes, he nodded and held my hand, trusting me in my decision to agree with Diana's command. Diana rolled her shoulders and looked at the map draped over the war table between us all. Her gaze pierced into the parchment as the aura around her body pulsated in anger.
I will fly ahead and meet the Demon Lord head-on. No matter what happens, I will not allow that monster to live.
The pure determination and anger in her voice practically sent a shiver down my spine. She was set on seeing this through to the end, and I was sure that she was willing to even die if it meant taking the Demon Lord with her. The remaining incubi and the wives were asked to stay behind the army and guard the main base, where Rabbit and Faye were stationed. They needed as many eyes as possible in the back of the battle, so the four couples were perfect to keep things in check. As I agreed, the meeting ended. The mental preparation had begun. The idea of the upcoming battle scared me, sending waves of fear and worry up and down my body in response to the thought.
So, this is our last day in the demon world.
Yeah, it is. Damien and I stared at the map outline of the dark castle that was once his unwanted home. Damien's hand slowly eased into mine as he spoke again.
I will protect you no matter what. I promise.
I listened to him speak before nodding, taking in a deep breath. Everything would be okay. We would be fine. I had to believe in myself and get us to the castle when the time was right. Holy crap, that castle. That's a lot of people. Like a beacon, our forces became the banner of hope and strength for the rebellion. At the sight of Diana, many soldiers bowed or stared in awe and inspiration. Maybe it was her presence, or maybe it was for what she stood for. But as Diana stood at the cliffside of the mountain, the air became full of energy and power. My fiancé, Rabbit Faye, and I stood behind her as Diana stood on the ledge of the cliffside, addressing the rebellion for their final battle. Her voice echoed across the field, booming and reverberating through the air like thunder.
Milites! Et hoc liberati isturei tramcun tuis omnibus conversiris. Sto vobiscum reducitic vos ad spem. Nocte, lavabir mur, arcem, hostium sanguine.
What is she saying?
She said that the castle will be bathed in blood, and she will lead everyone to freedom.
That's a lot for just a little. That first part's a bit much.
It's just to spur the troops for war. I'm sure she didn't mean it literally.
Or does she? I nodded and stared at the back of Diana's head. A part of me felt a little intimidated and jealous of the power she had. She really could make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. At the same time, I knew that she was doing the right thing for this world.
Ele Dio dominati sun nostri. Nos destruet, eum mitere, profundissimum, inferni detractos.
A pair of guards rushed forward, carrying a flailing imp demon who was caught in chains, and forcefully slammed him down in front of Diana. She glared down at him and gripped one of his horns, pulling him to his knees.
You should be thankful we didn't throw you into a stew like we did your partner.
With a whisper, Diana dragged her nails across the imp's neck, slicing open 5 large gashes in his throat and making him gargle out a painful, bubbly cry. Diana, however, kept holding his head up, focusing on the blood that poured from him, and guiding the energy that emanated from it towards the castle. With a flash, a large purple and red orb barrier that surrounded the castle shattered, fading into the air. The barrier that held the Demon Lord at bay was finally open, but allowing us to charge in and end this once and for all. Diana summoned her saber, letting it shine brilliantly as the purple taint over her skin began to twist and turn. Before my eyes, the taint on her back took shape, lifting off of Diana's skin and morphed into a set of demonic wings. I could only stare, jaw dropped, as Diana's body lifted off the ground and began to fly over the legends, slowly guiding towards the castle.
To war! To battle!
At her final command, Diana's wings pulsated in the air, flapping gracefully as she swooped down and forward. She was charging and flying for the castle walls, saber bared and ready to spill blood. As the armies below began to bellow and march forward, Rabbit took hold of my shoulder and turned me away from the castle to face her.
Come, we must hurry.
Understanding the need for urgency, I nodded and rushed forward with the rest of the incubi towards the slope down the mountainside.
Everything is in order. Sergeant Diana's guard are at the front lines, while Shadow is with his legion to the west.
What about our route to the castle?
We've done what we can to keep your way clear. We'll try to make sure the battle won't break through the path.
I nodded, feeling the need to rush Nip at my heels, pushing me forward. My fiancé seemed to agree, gripping my hand and walking at the pace alongside me. However, as we finally arrived at the forest line, Faye and Rabbit stopped, looking back at us.
Straight through here. The sound of the war will always be on your right, so do not get lost.
So it'll be on our right.
You'll be fine, though. Just follow the tree line.
In sync, my fiancé and I nodded in acknowledgement before turning to see the other brothers and their wives. So, this is it.
Remember your surroundings and protect each other.
Be careful, alright? Make sure you stay safe.
Princess, brother, we'll see you in the end.
We have faith in you. You'll make it there, and we'll return to the human world soon.
Kick his dead body a couple times for me, alright? Right in the head.
Sam, of course.
We'll be right here rooting for you and watching your back, okay?
We'll finish this and rush in as soon as we can, alright?
Make sure you kick some serious ass. Show that old goat what he gets for messing with you.
I smiled despite the nerves running through my body. I held onto my fiancé's hand and gave it a hard squeeze before receiving one back in kind. This sounds really loud. I lowered it a bit. Well, we'll finish this, then we'll go home. The group nodded before I slowly turned and looked into the tree line, took a breath and rushed forward. Matching my speed, my love followed, weaving through the trees behind me to not lose sight of me. The journey became simple with us running through the trees. The sound of war echoed beside us outside of the tree line, causing me to cover my ears a bit from the volume, but I shook my head and pressed forward, not wanting to become distracted. The goal was to get to the castle. I had to focus. We made our way through the thick forest, dodging each tree and root we came across. I could tell that something was ahead, causing me to grip my teeth and tempted to weave through whatever was there. As I expected, we were rushing near a group of imps who were about to jump into the war, afraid from the side as a surprise attack. Making me smirk, they were distracted enough to not notice us. I quickly took my sword from my scabbard, and swung hard at the group of demons ahead of me, cleaving through the backs of their neck. They couldn't even let out a scream as their voices became bubbly with blood. As they fell, I continued forward, gripping my sword and preparing in case we ran across another group. My incubus kept up the pace, understanding what I had done but a little surprised at my skill. We continued to run forward, heading straight into another group of imps, and rushed past them, dropping my sword and slashing through the back of their legs, letting them fall forward, synchronized in pain. The imps fell as the others ahead of them turned and became shell-shocked at the sight. It must have been a big surprise to see a human cut down a group all at once, but I wasn't so friendly and merciful, especially in this war. As I lunged forward again and swung my sword into the air, I became precise with my attacks, cutting down as many as I could in as little attacks as I made. There were a couple of close calls, but training with Mirth had kept me on my toes, ready for anything. Because crap Shadow, he sucked completely. My incubus, despite probably being surprised at my carnage, followed as I continued forward, fighting through every imp that came in our way. I had lost count of how many crossed me, but I didn't care. All I cared about was getting to the castle. By the time we reached the end of the forest, there were a slew of dead bodies behind me. I stood at the tree line, panting and feeling waves of adrenaline and lack of energy run through my veins. I panted for air, slowly focusing on calming down. As my energy quickly depleted from its adrenaline filled high, I had to drop my sword, unable to hold it any longer. That was all I could do before my energy was expended, and a wave of exhaustion rolled through my body. I began to fall forward, exhausted. My fiancé, however, quickly rushed forward and caught me in his arms.
Whoa! I got you. Are you okay?
Tired, that's how I'm feeling. Huh? I looked up to see Damien staring down at me with worry and panic in his expression. We were safe for a moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. Now the sound's kind of low. Alright, turned it up a bit. I'm fine. I promise to protect you like you protect me. Damien softly smiled and hugged me to him, pressing his head into my shoulder.
I love you so much.
Oh, so cute. But it's not time for this right now. I hugged him back, feeling relief that we had finally arrived at the castle and were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, Damien lifted me up and helped me up to my feet.
Will you be okay?
No. But I'm in line, so yes. I nodded, shaking off the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt a rush of determination run through me. Let's go finish this. With that, Damien and I rushed forward into the castle. The final battle had begun. The castle halls were grim and dark, sending shivers through me as Damien and I ran through them towards the sound of battle. All across the ground were bodies of slaughtered imps and soldiers, most likely dead by Diana's hand. As we finally arrived in the throne room, Damien held out his arm to stop me and protect me from the battle waging within. Diana and the Demon Lord were in some sort of an energy deadlock, with a bolt of red energy streaming out of the Demon Lord's hand and colliding with a purple flame that came from Diana's. The two energies pressed against one another, unrelenting in their violent crash as each stream of energy tried to obtain dominance over the other. The Demon Lord and Diana were equally matched.
Give up, succubus! This world will bow to me!
Over my dead body!
That can be arranged!
A burst of red energy pulsed around the Demon Lord's body, intensifying his bolt of lightning in the deadlock and forcing Diana to step back from the sheer force of it. Despite this, Diana pressed back, regaining her momentum and her crown. Damien and I remained still and quiet, watching the bout. Damien was meant to be backup in case something happened to Diana, and thankfully she didn't necessarily need help for now, or at least it didn't look like it. Maybe Damien wouldn't have to step happen after all. Diana shut her eyes and seemed to focus her energy. Large black and purple flames slowly crawling around her body and threatening aura as the power behind her energy stream increased and began to push back hard against the Demon Lord. As Diana opened her eyes, aghast, and as they revealed themselves to be completely covered in gold. And this is where we're gonna stop. So I hope you guys aren't mad. But I feel like this Damien's route, it's getting near its ending. So I'm quite sad. But we shall pursue on. But thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I will catch you guys in the next one.